Okay, and so you and I both submit proposals to the same panel, and we're both going to cure cancer by one method or another. And I add to mine a whole host of other broadening impact activities, integrating research and education, and doing outreach to museums, et cetera, et cetera. I think my proposal looks better than yours. And that's all I'm saying. It is obviously sufficient if that's what you wish to do. But if you really want to make your proposal stand out, it's almost like, and I use students as an example because we're all educators and we all look at things in the classroom and we understand what we're doing. Yeah, the kid did an all right job. That was sufficient. The student passed. Oh my gosh, this person just went way overboard and did a fabulous job and not just passed but excelled. Now, which one would you rather be? And you can choose one or the other. I'm not saying that it's not going to get a decent review, but do you see what I'm saying? It's adding. You're trying to make your. Okay, let me think of this. REEF, the Research Initiation in Formation, in Professional Formation. Donna went nuts. Donna Riley is the program manager. She got 3 times as many proposals as she thought she was going to get. Now, that did not increase her funding for REEF, but it certainly increased the competition. So now it's the people that did just what needed to be happening and call that their broader impact versus the people who did that and then kept adding stuff that was a coherent, logical addition. That's the difference. Yes, ma'am. Right. And mhm. That is where NSF is trying to educate the panels, okay? I'll give you an example of that. One of the things that I do, that many of us do when our panels start is we do a 4-minute PowerPoint with voiceover on implicit bias to try, because panelists come in from all different directions. And so that's something, again, I just conducted my panels. As I listened to the discussion, and people were saying, well, but they're not going into K-12. My comment is they don't have to. So it's up to us that are guiding the panel to try and help that discussion. I can tell you honestly, there's always going to be individuals who come into a panel with a preconceived notion, and you can't change that. And they only come once. So eventually we'll get it right. Yes, sir. Does anybody in here do research in assessment and evaluation? I'd really like for you to speak up. Oh, well. I have faculty members who do research in assessment and evaluation, and they would be very offended by what you just said. There is more to it than that. I would agree. There are some fundamental elements, but again, I think that the same way I addressed your question about being sufficient, that the research does broader impact, I think that there are things you could do to improve. My goal here, in both presentations that I've given, is to help people achieve greater success in their funding rate for their proposals. Now, you can just, as you stated, just put those things in there and call it a day. And somebody else might actually talk to someone in research and evaluation and say, this is what I'm planning to do. Can you help me craft an evaluation plan that's a little bit better than what I think other people are going to do? And they might come out better than you do. And that's not what you want to have happen. So So again, I'm not saying that what you just said is not sufficient to say, yes, I did an evaluation. But if I'm competing and we're looking at funding rates of 17%, I'm going to get all the help that I can. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if that answered your question or not. I think, go ahead. Okay. I think folks are hungry.
Oh, one more question. Go for it.
Mm-hmm. Not as a heading, no. I've never seen it as a heading, but I have seen it as, um, I have seen elements that address those two core missions in proposals. Okay? Let me say something else. And this, again, I try to, the best thing that you can do is give people an example of something that they're familiar with. Okay, so everybody knows that promotion and tenure is based on teaching, research, and service, right? And you really need to excel in all three, right? Yeah, no, we know that's not true. I just sent an email to my dean. One of the department heads actually sent an email to one of the faculty basically saying, yeah, well, we don't count service anymore. And I sent it to the dean, and of course the dean's response was, no, he must be confused. I wrote him back, I said, the guy's not confused. That's what they do. So again, you need to think, there are people who value certain things. What you want to do is I would hope, submit the best proposal possible each time you write it. And that's all we're talking about here, is submitting the best proposal that you can with the hopes that you'll get funded. And the more that you address both aspects of the merit review process and the core mission strategies as well, I think your proposal, as long as the intellectual merit is also there, you're obviously, if you don't have that, you got nothing. I think that will elevate your proposal above others because others don't do that. All right.
Thank you so much. So next is if you have more questions, our speaker will go out into the atrium, but we have lunch for everyone. But I want to thank everyone for coming. If you weren't at the first proposal workshop, I'm Sharnia Artis. I'm the director of the Office of Access and Inclusion, a joint office in the School of Engineering and the School of Information Computer Science. In the previous session for the workshop, I had talked about a spreadsheet that we put together in engineering, information, computer science that has a list of many of the outreach and programs that may fit for your broader impacts, where you can provide some of your research expertise or create curriculums or introduce some lab research methods for different communities and populations that we're going to send out to everyone that RSVP, so that you can be aware of those opportunities as well. So thank you for coming, and hope you enjoy lunch as well.